Hi, this is Steve Roy, author of the Killer Stand-Up online course, and I'm on the phone today for a training session with comedy magician Zach Waldman. And let me tell you, I'm really excited about this. Zach is extremely experienced. And so how you doing, Zach?
I am fantastic. How are you, Steve?
Awesome, awesome. So if you would do me a favor so that people listening know a little bit about you, talk a little bit about what you've done, where you're at in your career and whatnot.
Sure. Right now I specialize mostly in high-end private parties. I live here in Los Angeles, so a lot of those are celebrity parties, and corporate events. In corporate events I do both locally and I travel all over the country to perform at things like trade shows, sales meetings, hospitality suites, award banquets, things like that. I started off originally as a magician, like a lot of people as a little kid. And over the years, lost interest in magic, became a stand-up comedian, not doing any magic at all. And then some more years went by, and my love of magic was rekindled. Found it was a much easier way to make a living as I got into corporate events. And now I do both. I do straight stand-up comedy, and I also do comedy magic shows.
Fantastic. And just so that folks know, Zach was an early adapter for the Killer Stand-Up Comedy System. So, Zach, where do you want to begin in this journey we're taking to provide some valuable information to magicians who are trying to do comedy, trying to get ahead in their careers, trying to do everything that entertainers need to do?
Well, I'll tell you the first thing. As you asked me where I kind of came from, I think this is something, if people are self-aware, if they're really honest about what's either holding them back or leading to their decision-making, that this is something a lot of people can relate to, which is whether you're a comedian or a magician, you can fall victim to what other people think you should be doing. And I think it's tied into maybe self-esteem, but let me give you an example. There are magicians that are technically very good, and they spend all of their time going to magic clubs like Society of American Magicians or the IBM, and they really care what other magicians think. And they get locked into this little bubble of pleasing other magicians, but they end up being incredibly boring to regular people. It's kind of like you could have a mainstream guitar player that's a guy like Eric Clapton, that everybody loves Eric Clapton. He's a great guitar player. Everybody knows who he is. But then you might have a guitar player like Steve Vai, which is a guitar player's guitar player. And guitar players really appreciate his technical ability, but he would bore a regular audience to death. And I use that analogy because magicians do that. They get into this thing where they're entertaining other magicians, and they're worried about, I need another double lift. I need another way of doing the pass. I need, more tricks, more sleight of hand. But the regular, the lay audience, they don't care about that. They want to be entertained. And, you've talked about this with comedians that get locked into the comedy bubble where they're worried about being edgy and making other comedians laugh, but what they're doing doesn't fly at all at a corporate event. So I guess the first thing I want to say is you don't fall victim to worrying about your peers. I'm not saying that there's not value, that you can't learn things from your peers, that they might not be able to guide you. They certainly can. But don't hold yourself back because you feel like you're going to be embarrassing yourself by doing the things that can actually lead to you performing for the lay public and making money.
So would you say that there's really two important aspects to this being a magician, and one is, yes, it's the technical proficiency of what you can do as far as the quote-unquote magic trick itself, but it's also the presentation, which is the entertainment part of that, along with the magic trick.
That is exactly what it is, but here's the thing. Oftentimes magicians end up in one of two categories.